The first battle of many battles that you're gonna face in your life is the war in your mind. You must win the war in your mind before you can win any other war. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men to ever live, wrote these words at the height of his power when he was writing his journal, Meditations. He had just won a great victory in war, but he says, "I felt as though I had lost everything. So I turned the situation around in my mind and said, I have gained the ability to be without my property. If it's gone, it's gone. What does it matter? It wasn't going to be this way forever anyway." Marcus Aurelius understood something that you and I need to understand today, and that is how the way we perceive things, the narrative we choose to tell ourselves about the events in our lives, will determine whether those events are good or bad for us. He basically says, "Hey, look, I just won this battle. I should feel good. I should be happy." But instead, he turns the narrative around and says, "Listen, let me think of this differently. Let me see if I can turn this into a positive thing for me. I have learned something. I have now proven to myself that I can do hard things. I can go without the things I want. I can deal with being alone." And in doing so, he removes all of the negative emotions attached to losing, and therefore transforms the situation from a bad situation to an actually good one for him. This is what he's getting at when he says that the first battle is the war in your mind. What you're going to learn in this video is exactly how to do what Marcus Aurelius did in that moment, which is to take control of your thoughts, to be able to shift your narrative and to remove the negative emotions attached to whatever event is happening in your life. Because once you learn how to do that, you will be unstoppable. You will be able to handle anything life throws at you. You will no longer be afraid of what might happen, because you know you can deal with it. You know you can win the war in your mind. And this will make you more successful in business, in relationships, in fitness, in life, in everything. You become a more decisive person. You become happier. You become more joyful. You stop worrying and you start living. And so let's get started. Here are 3 steps to winning the war in your mind. Step number 1, control your thoughts. There's a line in the movie Gladiator that goes, "Are you not entertained?" And the general basically wants to know why the people in the stands are not cheering, why they're not giving him their attention, why they're not giving him the praise that he believes he deserves. Now here's the interesting thing. In the stands is Russell Crowe's son, and he is the only one cheering. And when the general looks down and sees his son, he finally understands, "Oh, you're right. I am not entertained. I am not entertained by myself. I am not entertaining myself. I'm not keeping myself busy with activities that are meaningful and purposeful. I'm not trying to be a good father, a good husband, a good citizen. None of that is entertaining. None of that is exciting. All of this fighting, all of this destruction, it's really not entertaining." And I think the lesson here is that we need to remember to keep ourselves entertained, to make ourselves happy, to find fulfillment and joy within ourselves. We cannot constantly be looking for outside sources to entertain us. We have to be strong enough and wise enough to entertain ourselves. Now, the way you do that is through controlling your thoughts, which brings us to step number 2, which is understanding how to use your thoughts as a tool. Seneca says that there are 2 handles to every situation, one that causes pain and one that doesn't. A rich man is someone who is able to grab a hold of the handle that doesn't cause pain, that doesn't cause suffering. It's quite simple, right? Like imagine you're holding a cup of coffee and it's too hot to drink, but you want to drink it, so you set it down and you wait for it to cool off. You don't try to grab a hold of the hot handle. Instead, you wait until the handle becomes cool to the touch, and then you grab a hold of that handle and you drink your coffee. In the same way, there are 2 handles to every situation, every emotion, every experience in your life. There is one that causes you pain, and there is one that doesn't. The wise man is someone who knows how to grab a hold of the handle that does not cause pain. The way you do that is by choosing how you're going to perceive things, by choosing the story you tell yourself about what's happened. If I lose my job, the handle that causes pain is going to be thinking, "Oh my God, I have bills to pay. I have a family to feed. How am I going to survive? This is horrible. This sucks. Why did this happen to me? That's the handle that causes pain. The handle that doesn't cause pain is saying, you know what? This is a blessing in disguise. I was unhappy at this job. I wanted to quit anyway. This gives me the push that I need to start that business that I've always wanted to start. I've always wanted to write that book. I've always wanted to train harder. I've always wanted to spend more time with my family and friends. Those are the things that I can do now, that I have the time and the energy and the freedom to do them. And so you must practice becoming aware of the different narratives you can choose to tell yourself. And you can't change your external circumstances, but you can change what's happening internally, which leads us to the third step, which is understanding that you are in control of your actions. Epicurus says that we are the sum of our choices. Everything we do, everything we say, everything we think, it all adds up to who we are, which means that the only person responsible for who you are is you. You can't blame anybody else. You can't blame your parents. You can't blame your childhood. You can't blame your teachers. You can't blame your friends. You can't blame anyone but yourself for who you are. And this means that you can also not blame anyone else for your emotions. You are responsible for the choices that you make. You are responsible for the story you tell yourself about what's happened. And this is what gives you the power to choose what emotion you want to feel in any situation. Marcus Aurelius says that you have the power to choose what emotion you want to feel. He says, you have the power to choose what story you tell yourself about what's happened. When you realize this, you are free. You are free to choose happiness. You are free to choose joy. You are free to choose peace. You are free to choose whatever emotion you want to feel. And this is the ultimate form of power. In a world where everyone thinks they're a victim, where everyone is blaming everyone else for their emotions, for their circumstances, you stand out. You stand out because you take responsibility. You stand out because you know that you're in control. And this gives you confidence. It gives you power. It gives you strength. And this is why winning the war in your mind is so important. This is why you must learn how to control your thoughts. This is why you must learn how to use your thoughts as a tool. And this is why you must learn that you are in control of your actions and therefore in control of your emotions. Once you understand this, you will be unstoppable. You will be able to handle anything life throws at you. You will no longer be afraid of what might happen because you know you can deal with it. You know you can win the war in your mind. And this will make you more successful in business, in relationships, in fitness, in life, in everything. You become a more decisive person. You become happier. You become more joyful. You stop worrying and you start living. And this is what it means to be a Stoic.